Hey, I'm Maria and welcome to Atmo Journeys, Path to Wellness. This is a space where we can talk openly and learn from each other. Atmo Journeys is our go-to place for inspiration, a moment in our day where we feel seen, heard, and part of a large community. In this episode, we're going to explore how unexpected changes can lead to self-discovery and empowerment. We will discuss strategies for stress management, work-life balance, and maintaining mental wellness during the uncertain times. Hi, Constantine. I'm very happy to see you.
Likewise,
and I
Maria.
appreciate,
Happy to see you.
Yeah, and I appreciate that you accepted my invitation to be my first guest of the podcast. Yeah, Atmo Journeys. I'm that kind of lucky people that know you, but I prefer for the beginning to give you some space and to introduce yourself for our audience.
Sure. When people usually ask me to introduce myself, I'm like stuck and it's difficult and like to say some things, but I guess I will focus on something that could be potentially useful practically for people and something interesting. So I guess listeners should know me, should know about me a few things. First of all, that I have three demanding jobs, and I work between 8 a.m. and 10 p.m. without going crazy yet. And I want to say that to be more specific, first, my job is that I'm a founder of international nonprofit organizations that I founded 3 and 9 years ago, and we develop. It's an amazing project, and I personally love it, and it's my passion. And we develop own social platform for helping people. Um, we develop platforms that will be practically useful for different nonprofits who are facing different challenges and they're looking for financial support, for instance. It will be useful for philanthropists and businesses who are looking for transparent platforms where they can donate more funds and understand in general how they efficiently can donate funds. And of course, it will be useful for communities and individuals. For communities, like help people find more volunteers to, let's say, clean a forest from a trash, or just individuals who have faced some specific challenges, like help me raise funds for my healthcare treatment. So we develop social platform that will cover over 15 the most important social global issues and will help people and the organizations work together to make a difference. So this is my passion. This is my main job, I would say. And the second my job that I also dedicate my time is that I'm founder of young project social media company Kindwise Rich that I've started this year, and this project focuses on creating practically valuable content for people, because I'm not a fan of just like bullshit advice, if I may say it. So I prefer to focus on something that really makes sense and save people time and help them improve their lives. So we develop content that will base on scientific advice and help people in general understand better how I can become more kind, how I can become more wise, how I can reach financial independence. Because we have so many different, like a lot of videos, but what about some real cases when we face some problems, and when it comes to, let's say, even mental health, how to handle such issues, how to handle some challenges. So this is what I do. And this is my job. I also have it, I'm a senior BA in IT, so I work with customers. I've worked over with customers over 19 countries across America, Europe, and Asia, with some famous customers like Toyota, British American Tobacco, Nestle, Philip Morris, many others. So this is like when it comes to my career and how I usually spend my time. But when I have a free time, usually I prefer to volunteer and help people. This is my passion, and that's the reason why I dedicate so much time to my nonprofit. I help for, I participated as a volunteer in different events, initiatives, in different organizations during my life. Usually it was more focused on educational projects. So we helped students and kids improve their educational skills through the debate technology. And I guess it could be more than enough, because I don't like to tell about myself.
Okay. Yeah. So many things. Sounds like that you are a very, very busy person first, and
Oh yeah.
that your plate is full.
Honestly, yes.
And you,
I even don't know how to eat all the things, but it is what it
yeah,
is. Even last weekend, I've just got back from national debate tournament where I was chief adjudicator with two of my other friends, and we help students improve their public speaking skills, critical thinking skills. So yeah, but I'm trying to
amazing.
balance all these things and just like
Okay, so definitely sounds like you are like a very you are a master of the balancing. Have in mind how many things you
mm,
shared, and for sure I'd like to know more how exactly you do this.
sure.
But there is also one thing you mentioned Kiev. So you live in Ukraine right now.
Yes.
Your country has a war right now, and so you are busy with so many things, but wow, you live in an uncertain time, I can say.
Hmm.
In a not so, I can, from my perspective, I can call it worst reality. And I'd like to ask you that it's something like a curious for me. How living in Ukraine, how has ongoing war affected your personal life and professional life?
It's a tough question, and it will be tough answer because my life completely changed after the war started. I mean, global invasion, because originally war started in 2014, because Russia captured Donbas area and Crimea, but then just like in 2022, it was global invasion, and like as for many people, like it's not exception for 90, I guess 95% of all people who lived in Ukraine, their life completely changed. And in my life, like what I had before the war and what I have after, it's two different realities, I would say, because before the war I had lovely wife. I had some dreams. I had some goals. We planned to relocate to Kyiv. By the way, the place where we considered to live was Bucha and Hostomel. If you know something about these places, so it was Bucha massacre, and just like for your to, to give a like funny story, I would say, is that like before 1 month, like before, so like in January 2022, I guess it was 27th of January, if I'm not mistaken, it was weekends. My wife and I, we visited Bucha, Hostomel, and Irpin because we planned to relocate there and live in Kyiv, and it was like awesome area for that. And we, you know, checked over, I guess, six apartments, choose the best for us, and we even started thinking like, okay, like what we should need to do for relocating. So we really planned to relocate to this city in 2022. And so but we also like we were very attentive to news, so we decided to like when we were in the bar and we had a discussion, we decided like, hey, maybe we should wait a little bit because it's something wrong with that. Like so many people, I mean, so many soldiers near our borders, what's going on? So we didn't do that. And so we are, I guess, very happy. Like we are very lucky that we didn't relocate there because like, I don't know what happened if we do that. And but when the war started after that, it was just like, as I explained, before the war, um, you know how to live your life. You have goals, you have plans, you can manage it. You don't have any unpredictable things. But when the war started, it's things that you can't control absolutely on 100%. And when the first day of the war started, it's just like so many worrying about your family and friends who live in the east part of Ukraine, and it's like attempts, um, dozens of attempts when you try to call them and understand, like, hey, are you safe or not? But you even can't call them because like the line is like overload. Like so many people call each other, so you don't know, like. Do, is your sister survived or not? Because she lived very close to this area when like Russia started and attacked itself, and it's like in general worries about your old friends, about your family, and it's about uncertain things like when you have this drones attacks and missiles attacks, and you have to go to the basement. You don't know will you survive or not. And it just like, we had so many these air sirens during the first year that it's just like even kill your instinct of safety. I mean, when you're already tired to go there. And like we had moments when we said like, hey, let's stay in the flat, like let's go to, like, I don't want to do that. So it's terrible thing, because usually you should try to survive and right, but because you already hundreds of times were in this basement and you spent hours like inside, because once again it's ongoing process in terms of air attack, it could be for hours. So it just like impact your mental health and make it worse. And for people who have even like, who lost their houses, who left their areas, who became refugees, it's even like much worse than for me, because I was lucky that I faced the war in Lviv, so it's west part of Ukraine. East part of Ukraine, it was very tough. People there died, a lot of them. I remember when my colleagues relocated from Bucha. One my former colleague shared me a story that her kid was forced to run across um, dead bodies in Bucha, because like he tried to survive, and it was just like, a lot of soldiers, a lot of people killed, and he tried to find a way how to leave this dangerous area. It's just like so insane, so many things. And so it's difficult to even describe it, because it's so many on your plate at the same time. It's chaos, it's unpredictable things, you don't know what to do with your life. I'm lucky that I had some savings, not too much, but at least I didn't think about money, because for many people who even left their cities, they just like relocated to another city without nothing, even without funds, and like where you can find food, where I can stay. The prices for apartments is just like doubled because of the war. So, and of course, it's about artificial conflicts in your family, because it like you have never talked about like relocation, let's say, like should we leave Ukraine or should we stay, should we go to the basement or not. You usually don't talk about such things. And so it's also like when it comes to the war, it brings to your family and relationships some artificial conflicts that it's difficult to handle, I would say, because usually with my already ex-wife, we usually always could find a moment like how to find a compromise. But when the war started, it's just like, so difficult to find it, because it's so many things. So I would say the war gave me divorce, I would say. It gave me blackouts and live in the darkness in during autumn in 2022. And so many unpredictable things, and so it's even about suicide, I would say, because it was a moment when I even like tried to commit suicide, honestly, because it was a period of time when uh, so autumn 2022, it's like blackouts in Ukraine because Russia bombed a lot of um, stations, so like all these electricity stations. And so I divorced with my wife, so we decided to live separately, and I stayed in uh, empty flat alone, without friends, without no one. And it was also darkness, completely darkness, because like it was blackout. And it just like, you face some uncertain things that you have never faced before in terms of mental health, like what's going on. And like you can start crying, and you can understand like why it happens. uh, and so yeah, it was a moment when I even like um, decided to go to a bathroom, and I just like, so turned on water, and I like took a knife in my hand, and was just like thinking, should I do that or not, because just like so many things. But I decided not to do that, and so why people recommend not to commit a suicide. And but it just like sometimes it's too much on one shoulders. And when I'm thinking about not only Ukrainians, but about all people who have faced wars in different countries across different periods in the past, currently, and in the future, I'm just sorry to know what people face, because it could be really terrible things. But I believe that people should find a way continue living even when they have a dark darkness around them. Because for me, like, let's say, when I decided not to commit to suicide, I was just started thinking about my family, about my friends, and about my colleagues. That, like, family and friends, they love me too much, so I will be very egoistic asshole. And if I do that just for myself. And when it comes to colleagues, the same. My team members in my nonprofit, like, they believed in the mission and vision that I've started, and it will be really not the right way to leave this world without saying anyone that, like, oh, sorry, I'm tired. So yes, it is what it is. So war really changed my life, but now it's definitely better than it was in 2022.
Yeah, definitely. It's if there is someone think about why exactly I invited you, why I'd like to talk with you. I think that there is no doubts anymore. You definitely. I think that it's going to be quite hard for me to find the proper words to say how impressed I am as a personality that you have to. I can say to survive in such a environment and a reality, especially that dark part of your life, because it's not so easy. This is while I listen to everything what you shared. I just thought, do did I have such a situation in my life that I felt so alone? Because definitely I think that this is the one of the hardest thing in such a moment to understand that actually you're not alone. So many people need you. So many people appreciate you. So many people love you. But it's not easy. I'm sure that it's not easy to find, to hear, to see those signals that people send to you. And yeah, definitely very, very tough period for you. And I'm very happy that you find that strength to continue, because you mentioned so many amazing things that you'd like to do. So not only your family and friends and colleagues need you, I think that the world needs you also. And this is maybe the one of the good thing that you find, and also that passion. You already had that passion before the war, I know, and
Yes.
you just, okay, I'm gonna do it. Yeah, I will not give up. But yeah, it's definitely it's amazing that you are still here and continue to do the things that you're doing.
Yes, thank you, Maria. Do
And
my best for society.
while I listen to everything what I said, I just can't imagine. I don't have that imagination to just to know how do you feel, how do you felt then and now while you're talking about. And this is also it's amazing power to talk about this, because sometimes I can say that this is also very hard for many people to share their feelings, their thoughts, because they just come back their memories and they feel again the same, that experience those strong emotions. And you started with that change. You mentioned that change, and I know so many people that are afraid of change. You know, they do everything in their life to avoid the change. And I'm talking for the people that live in such a safe space like my country, Bulgaria. And I know that I think there is a study of American Psychological Association. I think this is their name. That said, they listed the most popular fears people that scare of. And actually, the one of thing that is like a big trigger for many people is that unpredictable reality. And you know, that's why nowadays so many people, for example, they don't like their job. They are not happy with their salary, with their responsibilities, but they're still there because somehow they find those comfortable excuses. You know, if I go in different country, company, I don't know what to expect. Maybe the management will be terrible. Maybe the salary is. Maybe they will not be so correct with me from the salary perspective. Maybe the colleagues will be not so good. I already know the current one, and they prefer it to stuck in their life. And so the question that I have to you is, what is the change for you right now? How do you describe the change? And are you afraid of it?
I love it. I'm not afraid of it. I build for myself associations that changes something positive rather than something scary. And I honestly love improvements. And I focus my mind and always on improvements and changes and try new things, new approaches, new ideas, new products, anything, because I believe that it's definitely like probably very likely very likely we have something in our lives that we can improve. We just don't think about it in this way, and even like your smartphones that you use, some specific applications, maybe you have something that you can find better on, like something new, let's say new startups that just like created new amazing app or something like that, instead of using the same typical app for years. So I would say the changes for me, it's more positive things than something negative. I know that people are afraid of a lot of things, and I also was this person in the past. What changed after that? I mean, where was this moment when I decided to make changes and do not afraid of something? I guess I'm just like realize that I die one day. Like anyway, it will happen. I don't know when. It could be this year, next month, or maybe in the next 40 years. But so the idea is that try to continue doing your job and do your best and try to achieve your dreams and reach your goals until you have time, because we don't have unlimited time. So probably that's also what pushed me for move forward, I would say, and give me like this kind of curiosity. What if something exists that I didn't try and it's better than I have for now? Something like that.
Yeah, from my perspective, like my background, one of the things that I realized about the changes, because I used to look for changes. I think that this is a bit a problem for me. Yes, all the time to constantly look for something new and so on. I think that could be exhausting also. But yeah, in general, I love the changes, and they help me to push myself and to develop like new skills. I just while I'm doing something totally new for me, this definitely put me in so uncomfortable position. And from the very beginning, I see that definitely I'm not well prepared, so I have to learn something new. And those changes that I did in my life actually give me the biggest achievements that actually I have is the new abilities that I developed. But again, life for me is like a game that you have a new quest. It's up to me what kind of quest that I am gonna decide. I realized that I used to choose the hardest one, because as I said, okay, I have already so many skills, so many items that I had from the previous quest. And then the moment when I jump in the new quest, I see that those things are not enough. And I just accepted that I'm not enough prepared for the challenges. And I believe that this also helped me to continue to face with them. But about you, the changes, the challenges that you went through in recent 2-3 years, not only the war, also the divorce. Um, what are the achievements? What are the items that you have after those quests that you went through?
I guess it's a few lessons. Personally, for me, valuable. For other people, I'm not sure, because we are all have some differences and we all have some similarities. So when it comes to me, I guess it's first of all, like in general, when it comes to the war, my main goal for 2022 was just like to survive. So I have postponed all my goals, and so I realized that sometimes in your life it's okay to postpone your goals, not for many years, but at least for some period of time, if you really face some unpredictable, the most difficult challenges in your life, kind of nightmare. It's just like you come back to the previous level. When, as you know, we have this, like, I guess, Maslow pyramid or something like that with core values, and so I've just like changed the level, and so it was downgrade for a while, like physical needs on the first place and values and all the stuff. And then when I relocated to more safe area, so I anyway upgraded myself. And so this is probably the first lesson. The second lesson is, I guess, in general, it's so important to improve your mindset. I mean, so many things we have inside, and this is in most of cases, not in all of them, but in most of cases, it's the true cause of our and reason of our problems. When we didn't achieve something, or what we think about the world, or what we think about people, how we treat people with respect or without, it's because of what we have here. And so it's important to continue improving this part. And for myself, I dive into Stoicism more as a philosophy that I personally love, because it's really cool philosophies that help you to treat the life kind of another way that usually people treat when it comes to consumption culture, all the things that you need to buy to look great, to, I don't know, um, like, to receive respect from others or something like that. I mean, I do not care about it. I just like focus more on things what helps me inside, mentally and physically, feel better and achieve my goals and help people. That's the reason. And but not about something else. And so stoicism I probably could recommend to people who have faced some tough challenges as a way how to understand yourself and treat the life easier. Because if I explain this idea of stoicism in a few words, it's just like, imagine a person for whom it doesn't, they like people who don't care about the weather, like whatever you have, hot weather or storm, I'm happy. Like, I'm okay, I'm survived, I'm alive, I can enjoy typical and like small things like a cup of water, breathe fresh air and all the things. So stoicism could be second lesson. And the third is, in general, treat your life as a game. This is a concept that I also like. And so, I decided to treat my life more like adventure, just like a video game where I have a specific character with specific skills, with some weaknesses. And so I'm trying to reach my goals and like mm, finish some quests and focus on this part. Because when you imagine that your life is a game or like kind of adventure, maybe it's much easier. Yeah, it's usually easier, I would say, in terms of my experience. It doesn't mean that you don't have any other problems like tough, so many of them, like lack of finance or like any like health issues, but at least you know that because everything here was improved, everything around you also could be improved if you make changes, of course, because it's about actions, not just thoughts. Without actions, nothing probably happens. So it should be balance. Good thoughts, good
Yeah,
actions, good result.
absolutely. I agree that the things happen in or out. So the first thing is what we have inside, and uh, actually this is then influence the actions that we're gonna have after that. So yeah, I absolutely agree with you. Considering the whole stress that you went through and continue, of course, not only from the reality but also your professional occupation. I'm curious about the stress management level that you definitely, I'm sure that is very high. I'm curious about it because in our industry, in general, the wellness it's something like under the spot. Many IT companies proactively promote support with the community, and the stress management is one of the common topic. Also, some statistics talks about that. Um, Somehow, the fact is that in a while, it turns out like to become a challenge for many professionals to manage the stress. And I'd like to know, how do you manage the stress before the war? Have you bothered this? And after so many things that happened in your life in recent two years, three?
Yeah, sure. Great question. Before the war, I didn't focus on my mental health too much because everything was usually fine. I mean, I'm a type of person who usually can handle emotions and who didn't have some. I mean, usually my mental health is stable. So this is what I had before the war. So I didn't focus on stress management uh, like attentively. But after the war started, of course, I have completely rebuilt myself, I would say, and also it includes stress management practices. And so I even built my own recovery system, which allows me to recover my body and my brain and my mental health depends on the situation. So I would say, like, you may have feel stress, or you could be desperate, or depression, or just you're tired after a long day. I have specific solutions for, like, kind of quick solutions that I can use, and they may say takes 10 minutes of your time, and so you can feel better after you did it. And the same when it comes to long solutions, I would say, like, that that usually takes a few hours, but when you do that, you feel better. So to be more specific, when it comes to physical health, physical recovery, for instance, quick solutions that I usually use during the day to feel myself better, it's just like, first of all, I do after my Pomodoro sessions, because when we talk about productivity, we can record a separate podcast about it, because I'm very kind of yeah, okay, yeah. um I really love like, I'm focused on productivity. I'm always trying to do my best, and so it's also when it comes to productivity, it's also very connected to recovery. So that's the reason why I built this recovery system. It was in general the main reason why I did it. And so recovery for me, when it comes to physical solutions, it's a few of them. First of all, do always break during the day. So when I, for instance, work with this Pomodoro, I always have this, like, 25 minutes of work, 5 minutes of rest, because it helps me recover my attention in some way. When I and this 5 minutes is so important to use in the right way. So I do not scroll like TikTok or something like that, or I do not read news, because I know that it's so exhausting and it just make my mental health worse. So what I usually do is, for instance, washing my face with cold water. It usually helps my eyes, because I spend so many hours when I work on the laptop. It's also about contrast shower. It's about physical exercises for my eyes, for my back, some push-ups, or like 7 minute workouts. And of course, it's water, enough water during the day, and short 20 minutes nap. This is when it comes to physical recovery. And so when I work during the day, because like I use this 25 minutes of work sessions and 5 minutes of rest, every new 5 minutes I do like something new. So it's not always the same, like first it's like, imagine a sprint, and after the sprint you have some specific words that you should do. And so like the first sprint, it could be like just washed a face with cold water. The second could be physical exercises. The third could be breath work or meditation. And so during the day, I do a lot of different practices to ensure that I will be in a good shape. When it comes to long solutions, when we talk about physical physical improvements, like physical recovery, it's about walking, it's about stretching, running, swimming pool, and detox for my body, in terms of do not use sugar or spicy or salt food, fast food, food map, good diet. So I would recommend for people, and having enough sleep. Like sleep recovers me. I guess it's one of the best things that recovers me so well. So I usually sleep enough, like 8-9 hours, because in another way it could be so difficult to handle so many challenges. And it's just like about physical things. When it comes to mental health, or quick solutions, it's about meditation. It could be 5 minutes of meditation or Wim Hof practice, or some this short naps that I mentioned. Usually it helps because it improve my concentration during the day. So usually I do breath work or some mindfulness meditation in the middle of the day and at the end of my day, because when my concentration is down. And the same, I would say that I also make kind of detox, but for my brain. So I stop listening to music, because I know that sometimes music can create more challenges than help you. So sometimes I just work in a silence mode, so like nothing, just empty room, myself, and the task. And mindful eating also cool thing. I would say that usually my dinner, it's when I do not use my smartphone or my TV. I just like on the kitchen and just eat mindfully, because and focus on feelings. It helps me come back my attention to this present moment, because I've noticed that usually usually we live in this mode when we do not aware that we are in the present moment, and so that's a problem. And I want to come back to this moment and enjoy this moment fully. And when it comes to long solutions, also a lot of them, like weekends without obligations and tasks, it's probably my favorite, I would say, practice. When I've just I remember I made a practice, like I've imagined that, like, okay, if paradise exists for me personally, what it could be there. And so I came up with an idea that for me, personal paradise is like when I do not have any obligations. So when I don't need to go anywhere, I don't need to do anything. I can wake up when I want. I can eat what I want. No, almost exceptions is of course when I have detox practice. And so my weekends usually it's a time when I do not have any strict obligations or something like that, because I already had too much during work week. So I need to have this one at least day on, usually on Sunday, when I do not when it's just like empty schedule. It's so rarely for me, because another my like usually my work week is just like booked every slot. And so it's so helpful. And of course, detox from news, from music, from video games, from entertainment, from many different things that usually increase your dopamine. I try to remove all of them. And so my Sunday is just like boring day, but boring day on purpose to ensure that my Monday and will be, and like in general next work week will be easier.
Yeah, I also use similar tactics, but especially for that day of nothing. This is the way how I call it, and I love it that day because again there is no plan. I love to have on such a day without any plans, and when I wake up, just to say, okay, let me see what I'm gonna do now without any focus of the next things, what time I have to do this, what time I have to do something else, and try to improvise also. Just spontaneously, I call to someone and say, okay, let's go have a coffee or have a lunch or something like that. I love something like this. And also that about the music that you mentioned, I also realized that the music affects me not so well, but I used to listen to brown noise. I know the brown noise helps about for like an anxiety. If the people feel very anxious or stressed or something like that, but I know that sound definitely helped me to focus a lot. And this is actually the only one thing that I listen to. And in recent months, I realized that I have no idea about the popular songs, and I have no idea for the new artists or something like that. But it's not a big deal, I think.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
yeah, so we definitely have a match of the things that we are
Mhm.
doing, but definitely the daily schedule that I have is quite different. And my rest is for every 1 hour, 10 minutes rest. This is the way how I actually push the bottom stop. I call it stop. And for the beginning, when I started to do this, I draw a bottom stop and put it on the table, and like I push it. It's I think that also helped me to develop that that habit, because especially when pandemic started, was so untypical for me. And from the beginning, I catch myself that I stayed home from the computer for hours. I say, okay, Maria, this is not good. You have to take care of yourself. And yeah, so
This is interesting. Thanks for sharing. It was useful. And music for sure. I mean, like different music, like brown sounds and so on. It could be helpful. People should be very attentive to their feelings, I would say. Probably this is the most valuable lesson, because we all have similarities and differences, and for someone it could be something like kind of disturbance, for someone it could be helpful. And so it's about these changes that you mentioned, like we need to try it for understanding that, like, will it be helpful for us or not, because after that
actually there
we
are so
realize.
many different, there are so many different noises, like a white noise, also also pink noise. So if someone is curious about to try them, just to discover, to taste, I believe that after the first 1 minute they definitely could decide is it this for them or not.
Yeah.
And this is how I found the brown noise, that is very useful for me.
Have you tried something for sleeping? Because I usually use
No.
sleeping sounds specific when I need to go to sleep, and usually it's for this 20 minutes nap during the day. I turn on YouTube, and on YouTube I found rain sound, and it's usually associated with like sleeping feelings and all the things, and so it could be something.
Those things bother me. I mean, why I'm that kind of people that takes time to fall asleep. And honestly, I'm so jealous of the people that at the moment when they close their eyes, they immediately sleep. I don't know how they do this. It's amazing. But for me, it takes time. And I accepted this, that this is me. So 20 minutes, it's about the time that they needed to fall asleep. But if I have some hard day, one of the things that I'm doing is specific breathing techniques that actually calm the whole nerve system, and also helps to fall asleep. But this is like an emergent solution, let's say. And if someone is curious about such techniques, there are so many on internet that could help, because some techniques takes 1 minute, some them 5 minutes. This is depends on the person, and they have to try it. What about the life balance? So many people talk about it. Also, I know that experts share like a formula. How many hours you have to sleep, how many hours you have to work, how many hours you have to dedicate for your family, things that you do in your free time. Um, how do you manage the balance in your life?
So when it comes to, I'll start with the experts that you mentioned. I guess it's so important to be attentive to your specific schedule and conditions, and all the things like having more time for sleeping or less, talk more with your family or less. It also depends on so many factors in your life. Like, if you have a kid, maybe you will not, like, and you're a young dad, so maybe, or mother, you probably will not have enough sleeping, right? Because like your kids are young babies, they require some time. And so it's about, of course, having in mind your all the best practices, but at the same time also understand and craft your own practices, something that will work personally for you and may will not work for hundreds or thousands of people. In my life, when we talk about this work-life balance, it's honestly difficult to manage it when I have three jobs. When I, with one job, it's possible. But once again, the more responsibilities you have, the more tough your schedule become. And so my schedule is usually like, it's not for everyone, I would say. You just like imagine the time from 6:30 a.m. usually to 10:30 p.m. everything is booked, and I have specific, it's like time boxing technique, method, when you book specific slots for something, including your rest, And so this is how I manage my work and my personal life, because during my day, I also have specific sections where I should rest. Even if I don't have desire, I should go and make a meditation, because I know that it will help me recover, or do physical exercises. And sometimes, of course, it's about cases when something interrupt me, like, important work tasks. And so in that case, I move my sections, like, switch between them. Maybe I will do some work now, but then anyway, I should do meditation or something like that. If I can't do um, 20 minutes meditation, so I should make 10 minutes meditation, or like 5 minutes meditation, at least 1 minute meditation, so, but no excuses that I will not do that at all. And as I little bit mentioned, my weekend should be without any commitment, like any obligations, usually, because after that it's difficult to recover when you don't have an opportunity to rest. So that's why I try to do my best, and do not have any commitments during a weekend. Or if I have them, so I have to find a way, in that case, during the week, to relax as an option. So it's always about juggling with a lot of priorities in your hands. And I even build my own productivity system, um, because of that. I love self-development topic when it comes to practical things, not theoretical, because I'm more a fan of something that brings to your life valuable results, instead of just gaining knowledge without using them. So I even build, like, after I read over 100 books about self-development and productivity topic, I've just built my personal productivity systems that allows me to work efficiently. And it's specific sections, I mean, specific even instructions, I would say, like my perfect work session, how it looks like. So this, like Pomodoro, when I turn off my microphone, turn off my smartphone, turn off my notifications across laptop, and smartphone and all other stuff, and I just like focus on one task, and I do my work, and then I relax, and then I repeat the same sections during, I mean, this is the same sessions during the day, and based on these time slots. So this is how it works, and it includes a lot of things to ensure that I will not go crazy, because, like, you should care about yourself when you have a lot of obligations. When you have kids and you have a serious job like that demands a lot of your time, you need to be creative. You can't ignore that the reality changed, because in another way you just suffer. So that's the reason of thinking, like, okay, what I can improve, what I should change. And this is kind of my work balance. Try to always have enough rest during the day, and always during the week, I mean during the weekend, um, stuff like that.
Yeah, this is awesome. From my perspective, definitely I can say that the right balance is to do the things that you love. So this is the one thing that I realized in recent years, that doesn't matter how many hours actually you work. Yeah, the sleep is important, and the hours needed are different for different people. Some people need 5-6 hours. I'm those people that need about 7 hours per day, to take a good rest during the evening. But definitely, if people are dedicated to the things that they love, things that are connected to their personal values, I think that if everyone can take a 10 hours shift, 6 days of the week, it's not a big deal.
That's true.
And also it's important the quality of the time that you spend, because I know so many people try to to spend some time with their families, but it's important what exactly you're doing. It's not about
Yeah.
how many hours.
Mhm.
I believe that everyone could take an amazing rest within 30 minutes, laughing with and chatting with their best friends, and this could affect their bodies and mind in an amazing way. Meanwhile, if they spend 3 hours on a place that they are not, I can say they don't enjoy, actually this could overwhelm them and will not have that positive effect. So my mantra is just to focus on the things that I love and to try to take the best quality of the time that I have. Doesn't matter what is the time, 1 hour or 3 hours. It's so.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. It's absolutely makes sense. I remember when I was just like junior BA and I worked in one company and I didn't like this place. I mean, like I've just like realized, okay, like why I'm here. I should do things what I love, and I guess it's a really good answer to in general the question how to do more and feel happy and feel better. Because when you do what you love, it's usually more like a reward than like a boring job where you wake up where you should wake up every day and do in a place where you don't want to go and spend time with people where with whom you don't want to spend time, you know. So it's definitely a good concept, and I believe it's the right ideology and how personally I want to live my life, because I know that we have these limitations in our own. Like during the life, we have like someone will live 40 years, someone 50 years, and so it's about like how you use your time, and that's why it's more to include. It's so important to include in your life things that will make you happy, or at least like calm, I would say, if because happiness is not always too possible to reach. So maybe you will reach, I don't know, peaceful mindset and all the stuff like monks, you know. And it also could be for someone considered as a happiness, because it's also for different people like happiness different things. For someone is like about enjoy the life, for someone it's more about like calmness. So but anyway, it should focus on around your life, how you manage it, and how you can bring more happiness and more peacefulness, I would say, to your daily work.
Yeah, as I used to say, it's not about what happened in your life; it's about what you're doing in your life.
Mhm.
And yeah, that's why I also try to be focused more on action level. Of course, that they're more important. Um, like a, mm, I can say like a person that you experienced so many things in your life. What kind of advice you could give to our listeners if some of them navigate right now their mental health challenges? What advice you can give them?
Mm. It's a few things. I mean, I guess I will try to give the best advice ever. I mean, like at least this is what I've learned, and I didn't find something better than this for now. But it's just like it's so important to be attentive to your personal feelings, to your personal life and conditions that are different from most of other lives, because when we try to repeat mm, other life like habits, or do some tricks or use some life hacks blindly, usually it causes more dangers, like it just like cause negative consequences, I would say. So like, you know, when we watch some YouTube videos about self-development, when people recommend something to do, it's so important to understand not only what they recommend but also in which cases you can use it, because advice is about something that like you can use in specific scenarios, but once the scenarios will be changed, so you can you can't use the same advice anymore. Like, you know, in let's say you recommend to someone go for a walk, and you say like, hey, you should use this clothes, this shoes, and you recommended it for a sunny day. But what if this person will go in a storm, or like let's say minus 40 degrees by Celsius? The same clothes will not be useful anymore, right? So it's about adaptability and flexibility, and try to understand what it matters for you and what's going on in your life. It's in general like kind of the advice that I would like to share. Maybe for someone it will be helpful to be more specific when it comes to mental health. I have two advice. First, if you have thoughts about suicide, do not commit a suicide. It's so important. Don't do that. It's just like bad idea. I believe that people, it's really possible to find a new sense in your life, even if you lost previous one. even if your life completely changed on 100%, it's possible to rebuild it and make it even better. And so that's the reason why you should do that, because of yourself, because of your dreams, because of your family and friends who love you. And the last advice, it's of course about family and friends. I mean, my family and friends helped me so much when I was in a darkness completely, and they supported me during my darkness time. And so I believe that the same could be helpful for many people, not for all of them, because we all have different relationships with families, with friends. Someone has more like better relationships, someone even do not talk with their family. But the idea is that like you definitely should have people who will support you. It doesn't matter who these people are. The most important is that like these people should be very, like you should love them and they should love you. It could be your family, or it could be your friends, or maybe your mentor, anyone. But it's definitely great to have someone who can give you a hand when you just stuck and you don't know what to do in your life. And mental health in general is important. So I would encourage people do more research about it, read more about different mental practices and mental challenges, because I realized that in my life, for instance, when I was a kid and I was at school and or university, the educational system is not so attentive to mental health as a topic, and that's a problem because I've learned by myself how to handle my personal emotions or some challenges, or like how to handle depression or bad mood, how I should calm down, how I should recover my energy, increase my awareness, improve my focus during the day. I did it by myself, but not because of the educational system. And I believe that the educational system should do more for people. Um, in some universities, some schools already do it, but not all of them around the world. That's the problem. That's why I believe that it's personal responsibility to dive into this topic for people, understand at least typical challenges and how to handle with these typical challenges. Like for instance, what if I have a depression? What should I do? You need to have an algorithm that's okay, maybe I should talk with my friend, or maybe I should go and use I should go to psychologist or psychiatrist. And then, by the way, it is also the thing that I wanted to promote. If we already have this podcast, it should be very sometimes when you try to heal yourself without having knowledge, it's more dangerous. So I would recommend people to go to psychologists and for some psychological sessions, or maybe to psychiatrist. It's normal. People shouldn't worry about it, because we some people have, I know, stereotypes that like, oh, maybe something wrong with me, why I should go to psychologist. I mean, it's absolutely okay when you have some, let's say, teeth pain, you go to dentist, right? So the same is your brain. You should go to psychologists, you should go to other doctors who will help you to improve your mind and your feelings, and ruin some stereotypes and biases, because we all have them. Unfortunately, we live in this society when we have so many different biases and ideas that are not universal. It's just like that's something that works in the specific environment. That's the reason why we have discrimination, we have fights, we have wars. People just like live in this fake world, and and they are not attentive to themselves, and they are suffer every day. And so I recommend to try to understand how you can improve your life. Try to make it more simple. That's my advice.
Yeah, definitely to make more simple. It's I believe that this is the key, and also that people should know that they are not alone. Whatever happened, if they just open their eyes, look it around, they can find so many people, bunch of people that actually they are there for them to help them. Yeah, maybe sometimes those people are not part of our family or maybe our friends group, but yeah, just to be open to look for help, and also therapists there you said very well. When you have a teeth problem, we go to the dentist. So when you have emotional challenges, so there is also a doctor, and that's why they exist, to help us. And the last question that I have before I finish our talk is, if you have a chance to meet your younger self, what are you gonna say to that young Konstantine? And is there any advice that you think is gonna be useful for him?
That's interesting. I will answer with a joke. I would recommend myself to buy Bitcoin until it raises thousands of dollars. I'm joking. I'm of course joking. I mean, I'm not a crypto fan. I prefer to invest funds to more stable things. So I guess my advice will be more to. It's about focusing on your life and try to understand that like your life is different from others, and try to find specific solutions that works for you. Because I read a lot of books and I've tried a lot of things, and I also had some dozens of attempts when I continued tried something that's useless, because people explain it as the best practices. And I mean, this is at least when I was when I was a kid at school or a student. So the idea is to understand, like set up a measures and test it. Like, scientists test hypothesis. Was it useful or not? Not. Buy. If it's useful, I will use it and will implement it in my life. And of course, like just like learn every day, enjoy your life, spend enough time with your friends and family, because they will not be with you forever. Find a way to relax. I mean, job is a great thing, especially when you love it, but you also should recover your mental health and try to find a balance. I guess balance is so important in general in our life. All this, moments when I've just like noticed that sometimes people focus. They are very bad in finding a balance. Usually, we have these parts when like you have, let's say, you have medium and you have different sides. I don't remember how I can call it in English, but like I guess you understood that we have this moments when we are like, or kind of very people who are very dedicated to physical health, or people who are not dedicated to physical health at all. I guess it's so important to find a balance between these things, because even when you focus on your physical health too much, it also brings, unfortunately, some negative consequences. This is what I also learned. So try to balance between all the things is definitely what matters, what make life easier, at least for me.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for everything what you shared today. For me, definitely was a very useful talk. I heard
to hear that
and learned so much about the hard times, about the uncertain times, and yeah, I hope that people that listen to our conversation maybe also gonna fall in love in changes like you.
Hope so.
And we're not afraid so much. So thank you again.
Thank you, Maria. I'm happy. I was happy to visit your podcast and talk more about so important topics. So don't hesitate to call me if you need any support outside of podcast. And I hope it was useful for at least for some people in this world. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.